Hi everybody. So yes, it is 10 after 3 in the morning and I am sitting in my car. Again, more shenanigans from the neighbors. So hopefully it'll be uneventful. My neighbors will just go to bed, stop playing idiot. And I had a cop at my door half an hour ago saying that somebody walked by and saw something weird and sexual going on and they had to come and investigate. I have severe mobility issues. I can barely walk. If there was anything weird and sexual going on, the victim would run away. Would be more than able to run away. I don't understand why accusations of weird sexual things are the last resort of the stupid and desperate. And why they want to involve cops in their mental breakdowns. This is... But you know what? I was going to turn that off and, start my introduction again. But I think that does lead me to impotent anger and how that impotent anger can translate into wonderful monsters. And I'm thinking I'm going to be writing some stories where I kill some people pretty brutally after this. So this leads me to a collection called Black Cranes. It is Asian American Month. It is Short Story Month. And so I thought that this would be a good time to review this book. It's a collection of stories written by Asian American women. It's edited by Lee Murray and Geneve Flynn. And the foreword is by Alma Katsu. And Alma Katsu discusses how many Asian women feel constricted by the society that they're expected to work through the traditions of, but also figure out their own lives. And there's tremendous amount of pressure. And if you watch my interview with another author during my Women of Horror series, she also talked about how some of the female monsters in Asian horror are an expression of that anger towards patriarchy and towards how they're how they're expected to act. And I thought that was kind of interesting, and that's one of the themes that does come through in Tales of Unquiet Women. Each of the authors is of Asian descent, whether they're American or other nationalities. And the thing that I noticed is that they play around a lot with stereotypes and also with traditions of different traditional monsters and different looks at traditions. So I'm just going to go through each of the first 6 stories that I read. So the first one is called The Genetic Alchemist's Daughter by... You know what? I can't read my own handwriting. I'm so sorry. I will have to put the authors and titles in the comments below. So the genetic alchemist is a scientist, almost a mad scientist, and she's been conducting gene splicing experiments. And so she's creating these ideal species, and all the way through, she discusses interesting animals and creatures that shouldn't exist, but they do really neat and freaky things, which seems harmless, except that she's also creating perfect children and correcting children through doing this. And that includes her own daughter, which raises questions about the ethics of science and the idea of a designer baby, which has been something that people have looked at in other books. And it also becomes a revenge story, which I find kind of fun. The next one is Capre, a love story, and it's told from the point of view of a human-eating monster. The Capre is an evil tree spirit from the Philippines, and he even has friends, the Tikbalang, which is an evil horse spirit, and the Okay, again, I can't read my own handwriting. Asway something? I'm sorry, it's a vampire type spirit. But it uses imagery of these creatures from Filipino mythology and folklore. And so the Capre goes into this room, sees a baby alone, and decides not to eat her. And then they become friends when she's a child. And then he watches her grow up, and he always loves her, and he prevents his friends from eating her. So it's a different kind of love story, told from the point of view of the monster. And the Tikbalong's trying to convince him that, why are you even paying attention to your food? She's only there so we can eat her, which again does raise some of the ethics of, a human's approach to eating animals and so on. It's a very clever story, and a different twist on the love story. And then A Pet is for Life by Geneve Flynn. And this one is particularly fun because everybody in it wears a mask, which we're seeing a whole lot more these days. And it involves, it's a look at the, okay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Kuchisake Onna, which is it's a Japanese monster, and she's got a slashed face. And it's from the point, it sort of goes back and forth between Tully and Ku. And Tully is this woman who goes around collecting creatures and saving them as pets. And it's really cute when she runs into the Kuchisake Onan, because she collects her too as a pet. She doesn't like it very much. So I really enjoyed that one. The next one is Phoenix Claws. Phoenix Claws is another name for chicken feet. It's about a woman named Lucy who brings her boyfriend Finn to a family dinner. And I guess the challenge is to give him the grossest thing, which is chicken feet. And she describes them in the most disgusting way possible. And I'm sorry to anybody that likes chicken feet or finds them a delicacy, but ugh. And so he grabs them, puts them in his pocket, and she finds them, and then realizes that he didn't eat them, but she doesn't want her family to get offended. So the next time they go to the restaurant, she eats them instead of him. And then she starts getting haunted by all these chicken feet everywhere. And it's a really clever look at family tradition, superstition about greed and about our food, and how we have to expect our loved ones to fit with family traditions, but sometimes the family traditions just don't make any sense. And it's a really enjoyable story. And that the way she describes the chicken feet, I mean, I find them gross anyway, but it's particularly clever. So the next one is Of Hunger and Fury by Grace Chan. This one I liked, but I found the ending a bit rushed. It's about a woman named Fong who goes to visit her mother. She's been living in Australia for a long time, for over 20 years. Her mother used to own a salon, which she gave up to care for her, for Fong's father, Ba. And she starts having these strange dreams about meeting a spirit. She walks around the village where a young woman had disappeared many years ago. And then it just sort of ends abruptly. So it felt kind of rushed. But it's a good story up to that point. I mean, there's a lot of really nice description of the area and this mystery of what happened to this girl. But I think the pieces didn't come together very well. The next one and the last one that I'm going to review is Skin Dowdy by Angela Eureko Smith. And the Skin Dowdy, this one's more of like the first one is more sci-fi oriented. And it's about a woman who has a whole bunch of holographic enhancements to her appearance. And a Skin Dowdy is a woman who doesn't have tech enhancements to their appearance. And the main character is a woman who's addicted to getting these enhancements and getting more and more of them. So she starts with her eyelashes so that they'll change color. And then she gets some hair implants. And later she gets these kaleidoscope eyes things. And it turns into a be careful what you wish for story. because her husband loses interest because she's got all this stuff on her. So it's again, it's another story about sort of the dark side of humans messing with natural order. So that's the first 6 stories in Black Cranes. It's a really good read. It's really entertaining. There's a lot of interesting ideas. It plays around with the traditional and the modern and ideas of, again, family and relationships and how these can work into horror stories. And so it's a pretty good read. And I will be back with a review of the rest of it probably next week. So I hope you're reading lots of great horror. Have a great day.